So what we're going to explain here today is the proper procedure for loading and unloading of a 55-gallon ram. The way we're going to start is actually raising up the ram to make sure there's no kinks in the hoses that we have here, and that the ram will operate smoothly. Make sure that the hoses aren't caught on anything and that the hoses can come up and down smoothly. Okay, now that we've reached the top of the ram's height, we're actually going to explain a little bit about the drum. So the drum is of vital importance for loading and unloading of this machine because the seal life depends on the quality of the drum. If you want to inspect your drum before you actually load it, you need to check for dents and you need to check for the overall smoothness and roundness of the drum. Next, you want to make sure that the drum lid maintains and stays on top of the drum until the drum is properly loaded. So what we're going to do here is this is an empty drum. We're going to load this drum onto this cart with the top secured. So now that we have the drum loaded onto the machine, we need to make sure that the drum is centered. A lot of times people will find themselves trying to locate the drum using the ram. That in fact is improper and can damage the seals and lead to shorter seal life. So once we've located the ram central to the drum, we want to come down to the bottom and secure the drum with the clamps. Once the drum is secure, it's then time to remove the lid. Now that I've taken the lid off of the drum, what I'm going to do now is actually take a liner that needs to be at least 6 mils plastic. And generally your vendor will supply these for you, but if not, you need to make sure that there's a hole cut in the center. And you're going to place this central on the drum to protect the drum and the seals as the ram enters the drum. This will allow longer life on your seals. Now that we've centered our plastic guard and our drum beneath the ram, we're going to begin descending the ram into the drum. You do this by changing the lever to the down position at about 15 psi. And opening up your bleed valve to allow the air to escape. Now that you've got your ram on the material, you need to close your bleed valve to keep the material from bleeding out of the bleed valve. You need to keep your ram in the downward position. And you need to keep that pressure at about 5 to 20 psi. Now that the drum is empty and the ram has reached the fully down position, we're going to extract the ram. To do this, you want to adjust your ram pressure extraction air to about 5 to 30 psi, and you'll want to adjust your lever to the up position. What we want to establish here is the reason that the ram extraction air is so important. We want to establish the idea that we're pushing the drum off and not pulling the ram out of the drum. There's enough pressure from this ram to cause a vacuum that is strong enough to collapse the drum. So hopefully what we've accomplished here today is the proper loading and unloading of a 55-gallon drum on our 55-gallon ram adhesive unit. The reason this is important is because a lot of our customers have found value in saving the life of these seals. These seals are expensive and we want as much money in your pocket as possible. It's also best to properly load and unload the drums for safety reasons. There are a lot of big moving parts on this machine and there are a lot of potential injuries if not done correctly.